Hello and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. I hope you've had a great Monday because we have got a great game in store for you today as we dive back into Game of Thrones, A Song of Ice and Fire, The Crownlands. Let's go around and say hello to everybody and see how everyone is doing today and what they've been up to this week. And let's begin with the lovely Susanna Grace.
Hello! That's me. Hi, I'm Susanna Grace. I'm hyped for this show and to see what I'm so prepared. Friends, good energy today. I'm very hyped though for the Crownlands today. I love Westeros. I love this disaster family. I love Lady Allegra. And yeah, but this week I have been mainly working on character portraits for After the Fire, which is our sister campaign, set in the same time period, but much further south in the Reach/Dawn, which is the best bit of Westeros. Don't at me. And we're back this Thursday with a very special episode with a very special guest, and Charlie gets to hang out with one of her favorite people of all time, Prince Maycar. So tune in for that on Thursday. That's basically all I'm hyped for this week.
Prince Maycar being played by the wonderful Grimjack, aka Greg, who has guested before. One of my favorite people who I hope we can get back for Call of Cthulhu very soon because that's what Greg is very, very good at. Speaking of people who are very, very good at horrible things, Nuno, are we going to see 4 6s again this week?
I was wondering where this segue was going, but in this case, fine, I'll allow it. Probably not. I mean, don't get used to it. We know that the ones are coming. There's no escaping the ones. It's going to be like this forever and ever and ever. But maybe not today. We'll see. Anyway, yeah, I'm Nuno. I'm very excited for this. I had a very, very busy weekend, so I really need something like today's game and the game that I have afterwards over at the Chromatic Chimera. So yeah, let's see how it goes.
What are you playing over at the Chromatic Chimera tonight?
Oh yeah, I am playing an amazing Eberron campaign, and Eberron is all I ever wanted for D&D, and it's going very well. Very different tone, very comedic in comparison to this one. So I finished this one, I have an hour and a half break, and then I need to change mindset, which is really interesting.
And Shauna, you always have busy Mondays, right? You get a double billing on Mondays too.
Yeah, just this, which I'm always excited over the weekend to get back to the game because I know the start of the week, bunch of games. So this between this and the finale on Onyx Path of Sail by Streetlight, it's a busy day, but I'm excited to see where we get going. In addition, doing a lot of artwork this weekend. It's been a little bit of a thing. There's some things I'm excited for to be put there. So, yay.
Speaking of artwork, you did, of course, do all of the portraits that people can see on screen right now. And I'm hoping that we can commission a few more pieces from you for NPCs in the game that I think need faces. I don't know how to link to Sam, who I currently think of as a faceless man, to be honest. The assassin of hopes and dreams.
I'll have that.
Hi, friend.
All right. I'll have that. That's quite good.
How's your week been? What are you up to?
It's been all right. It's been good. I've mostly been staring at a manuscript trying to write how to create encounters, campaigns, and stuff for the spy game. So we're still going on with that. We've just launched our pledge manager and our late pledges. That's the word I was looking for. So hopefully we might be able to snag some links in chat if Charlie lets us. But if you see us on After the Fire on a Thursday on Follow Black Cats, or if you see me knocking about, even when we did the streams here on Encounter Roleplay, we did a 2-shot for the spy game that Charlie was part of. So if you've checked us out but you didn't get in on the action of the actual Kickstarter, then you have a chance right now to back it at the same prices. So check that out. At some point, hopefully we'll get a link in chat as well. That was my shill for today. I am looking forward to this very much. And all I have to say to finish this off is, there.
A magnanimous dispensation.
Hoopst is my reply. Hoopst, themst. I just had the alert. That means we got a donation in. I will go and take a look at that in a moment. As soon as I stopped Spotify from opening, because that's what I clicked by accident. Thanks,
It's a biggie.
Spotify. It is a biggie.
Oof.
Thank you so much, Architect Origins, who is unleashing
Ooh.
ultimate power for the first time this season. Architect, I will keep an eye on my whispers and we will have a conversation about what that will manifest into. Architect, of course, the person behind the mysterious illness that swept behind the castle with the inspirational Bane boon that was dropped, which also left Allegra after last session with an additional benefit and a couple of dice in resilience, meaning it's going to be much harder to poison her in the future or make her sick, various things like that. But before we get into tonight's game, there are a few things I should mention. Thank you so much to those who have already hit the retweet button, and if you haven't yet, please do if you're watching live. If you are on YouTube, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. We appreciate you very much. Leave us a comment down below. Hoomst! You can also interact with today's game via donations, much like Architect Origins just did. We have a number of options. You can check those out over in chat. And we also appreciate all of your clips. I had the best time this weekend looking over the last 2 weeks of clips, making GIFs, and generally just giggling over the shock and horror as Nuno rolled 4 6s and Susie rolled a 2. So that was how that went. Of course, we wouldn't be here on Encounter Roleplay without our wonderful sponsors. So I'm going to cue up the video so that Past Charlie can tell us all about them. Before we begin today's show, I would like to take some time to remind you about our sponsors. Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. All of the beautiful maps and roles you see tonight are done using Fantasy Grounds, which you can try for free at fantasygrounds.com. You can also get all of your miniatures from Wayland Games. Go to waylandgames.co.uk and get yourself a huge range of D&D, Warhammer and 40k minis for up to 20% off regular retail price. And Tabletop Loot, who sell incredible dice. Go and check them out at tabletoploot.com. And we are back, and we are at 19 retweets. I will keep an eye on this throughout the game and update that. The boons will be awarded at the end of session. So without any further ado, I think it's time we get comfortable. And we return to the 7 kingdoms of Westeros. To a little hold just outside of King's Landing. The storms have eased and left a smattering of rain. The ground has been churned with mud from riders, from a pit dug in which to burn the dead. Jamie, you sent out a cadre of men to seek aid to send for Silent Sisters, for there are nobles dead in your hold. Some riders returned with word. Your neighbours, the Gaunts, will be sending a maester, and the Silent Sisters too have answered, silently, that they are on their way. It seems for now that no one else is getting sick. You've contained, controlled, and managed the situation and explored the crumbling tunnels in search of your missing sister, Tarla. Allegra, you had sent word to your husband at Crackclaw Point and word to Jamie, who had arrived a few days ago. With the storms, ravens had been slow to return, but one had, and did return with a letter from your husband, asking you to send word that you and his daughter are well, wanting to know what more he can do to help. What is your reply, Allegra?
So Allegra has taken to her private quarters to write this letter. And she writes, Beloved, Danella and I are fine. We have recovered from whatever this was. She's a stronger girl than I think a lot give her credit for, just like her father. Though I wish that I could say that others within our family were as lucky. And as she's beginning to write my uncle, she pauses and it's like everything hits her at once. And the tears just start falling, her shoulders sag, and she can't quite write the words that part of her family had died today, that Tarla is gone, she's missing, that Asta almost died. And she's a wreck for a moment as it all just hits her like a wave. But she has to, she steels herself and she writes out, that her uncle is dead, that her sister is missing. And that she will be returning home to Tide's Door, as she's no longer safe here at Famine's Hold. They'll be going via King's Landing, most likely stopping at Bellstead Castle to pay respects to her aunt and uncle that live there. But then we'll be back at Tide's Door.
Okay. And as you finish penning this letter, you can hear outside the discussion amongst the Dornishmen as the Wills are finally on their way, taking with them the sick Bastian, having left Asta with money for 11 horses who have been kind of tethered together and follow the convoy away from your homestead. Asta and Adeline, along with the deal that had been made with the Wills, last session, you had a conversation about Adeline's whereabouts on the night of the storm, during the feast when everyone fell sick, about mysterious letters. And Adeline, you were persuaded by Asta to address this with the family in the hopes that you can clear suspicion, potentially around your name. What actions are you both taking today?
I think for us it will depend a little bit on if Adeline takes initiative or not to summon the rest of the people in the family. So I don't know, maybe let's Shona say something first.
I think she was just really surprised by like the turn that took. So yeah, immediately, you know what? Do this tonight. Might as well deal with it now. Before this has time to go longer and go out of control. So call them. I'll get them. I'll have the guards summon them.
So Jamie and Allegra and Asta, you all kind of receive a summons from various members of the House Guard. Garen, I believe, would probably go to Jamie as kind of an honor and explain to you that Adeline has requested your presence. I'm going to suggest this would take place in the feast hall, as that's kind of, I think, still kind of cordoned off for investigations. What room would you like to hold this meeting in, Adeline?
We'll do it in her quarters, her official quarters as the Master of Arms.
Okay, so you've been invited to the Master of Arms quarters, which would be located near the castle armory.
And I think she would just have all the letters just like laid out on the table, just ready to go.
Do any of you send word that you will not be attending?
No.
Okay. And so you all go to Adeline's quarters, where Adeline waits, laid out on the table, the war table of times gone by, a number of notes. A small reminder for Jamie and Allegra, you too have notes that Adeline doesn't know exist. Do you bring those with you?
Oh, yeah.
No.
I'm not no, but she has them. So, fancy
We also
dresses
don't know that she doesn't know
inside
they
pocket.
exist. My suspicion
No,
was that
that's-
she knows they exist.
Yeah. I've got them in my pocket, which is like sewn inside the dress. But I'm not going to be walking around with them in my hand.
You can do that. Jamie won't be happy about it.
Okay. So Allegra, who was in charge of opening the letters since Jamie didn't want to get caught out with them, will bring those to the meeting, so we know they are with us. Okay. So really, I'm going to hand this scene over to Shauna to lead as your character's called to this meeting, and we will see what happens. I will call for an intrigue if it becomes necessary, but until then, see how this goes.
Well, glad you're all here. Heard there was some questioning my loyalty to this family. Where I was. Here, letters are all here. Everything I told Allegra is here. I just went to go check on missives that the maester had given me. They're specifically dictated to me, specifically about Della. And that was something I didn't want necessarily to bring out in the open, because you know my history with that. And if it was a trap, or worse, it would only be me. I didn't think what would happen at the hold would have happened. And it is my feeling as a matter of that I was not there to protect you, protect your family, and protect the guests.
Della Gaunt.
Yes.
I may have been away too long. Your history is what? I'm sorry?
That we were otherwise engaged. We tried to sneak off from the Gaunts, and I was caught, beaten, and my father had to come and grab me.
Now I remember.
I'm not angry with you, Adeline, for doing this. I am, however, incredibly disappointed that you would leave without telling any of us, beyond a letter, going off to get yourself killed. For what?
Maybe I just got tired. You haven't been here for years. They have been a constant thorn in my side, pushing us, encroaching. And with this marriage, they seem to have leverage over us. And I have to see what this was about.
How could you be so stupid? If you're saying they have been goading you, pushing you, testing us for years, why would you go off on your own into what was obviously some sort of trap?
Because if I was dead, then maybe Tarla wouldn't have had to marry that Gaunt. And we wouldn't have to tie our families.
Of course she would. It was dictated by the crown. It's nothing to do with the Gaunts.
And maybe that I wanted to take a few down with me.
Well, look what happened. A few of ours went down instead.
While this conversation is happening, I think Aster would have stood up and started reading the letters carefully. And ask, so where did these letters come from exactly? How did they reach you?
Well,
where is this Della?
I've lost track of her since I was told they married her off. The maester said that she had been already dead for months before these letters were given to me. That I have no understanding about.
There are many secrets I should have told you, and there is no time now. Hear me one last time, Ada. I love you. I leave these words for you, as everyone else is deaf to my warning. The corrupt line of old Valyria must be ended before the mother of beasts can walk the earth and scorch it from the death and ashes. Seek my true siblings, do what you must. I am sorry to take you from home, but I choose you as my champion, and couldn't let you fall, sorry. I shall not walk the longest night, and shall rest when you succeed, Tarla. Well, packed with imagery. And he gives Allegra this look that's just the fuck.
Mm-hmm.
I have no closer idea to what this means.
You are her champion.
What does that mean? I don't know.
But why now? Why on the day of the incident? Why couldn't she let you fall on this day? How did the maester know that this letter had to be handed to you on the day of the feast?
I have no idea more than any of you do. I wasn't expecting anything like this going out there.
I'm sorry, where did you go?
To the tree on the border between our lands, or we would sneak away. Apparently only we knew about it, we thought.
You thought.
Maybe still do, I don't know. I don't know if she's dead, alive. The maester seemed out of his mind when I tried speaking with him. I don't know if that was through the poison or his demeanor.
But he did deliver the letter to you before the feast, before the poison.
These letters, there was a letter before that just said, watch out for the hunt. That her brothers knew what was happening. And that's why I came to the hunt with you.
So, are we supposed to believe that a person that's supposed to be dead for 6 months knew we were going to organize a hunt and knew that this poison would fall upon our family?
What's taking time? That's not implausible.
I don't know what we're supposed to believe. The only thing I know is we have bodies of our loved ones getting ready to be burned. I don't know why. I don't know why I was summoned. Or what any of this means.
Is it worth it? What did you find there?
I found that letter that you were reading, and this, she takes out the piece of metal with her name on it. This was buried here in this cloth in a grave marker.
Shauna, is there anything special about it? Is there any, like, how it looks? Are there any weird distinguishing features or anything?
I think it just has her name etched on it, right?
Okay.
Well, at the time when Adeline previously looked at it, it was in the middle of a storm out in the dark of the woods. And the strangest thing that Adeline might recall is that when the lightning struck the tree behind her, the metal kind of hummed as if it kind of hit that frequency, like when you run your finger around crystal, that kind of resonance. Looking at the metal, it appears a very bright piece of steel with Adeline's name.
The etching, is it neat or is it very roughly carved?
It appears to be very neat, very in line and regular letters, not carved by an inexpert hand. Or etched, probably, by metal.
Jamie runs his hand across the name and says, Castle Forged work.
But why? This entire thing makes no sense.
She could have been trying to warn you, and in the process was killed. If she knew her brothers were in on a plot to poison this house, and she loved you, then she has motive to warn you. Now, after 6 months is not an impossible time to be plotting and scheming on such an endeavor, so it would not surprise me if she had gotten wind of this and then subsequently was punished for what she did.
And we have their macer on their way.
But wait, something is off. If the Maester gave you this note just before this feast, it was timed. What was in it for him to wait to give you this letter? If we'd known months before, then we'd have been prepared.
He may have not known anything. The way that our men found him, he was panicking, looking for some sort of antidote to whatever poison this was. He may not have had any idea what was going on other than these letters.
I think it's time we pay the Gaunts a visit.
I think so.
But what about the hunt? We didn't plan the hunt 6 months ago.
An opportunity, perhaps?
But it wasn't a letter, wasn't it? The first one? Kind of points at one
Yes.
on the table.
That was,
Of course, it could be a coincidence, but I'm inclined to not believe in coincidences.
Adeline, did you ever see her write?
yes.
Is this her handwriting?
I think if Adeline would to believe it, I think it would have to be her handwriting, right? Mm-hmm. Yes, it's her.
As you look at it, it's what you remember her handwriting to be.
And she is the only one ever called me by that name.
Ada.
No one else.
See?
One
This
thing that was also there that wasn't in the letters is that there were carvings on 3 trees surrounding the site. Carved dragon.
Allegra immediately looks to Jamie.
Would you take me there?
Of course. It still stands. If it's not the one thing that worries me, if it's not the Gaunts, then maybe we are being led in their direction.
Agreed. It's what doesn't sit right with me.
They'd have to be stupid to take us out now.
I don't doubt their stupidity.
No.
But we are out of sorts dealing with this. We have been exhausted trying to find Tarla, find whoever did this. If there's no better time, now would be the time they'd want us.
My lord, I believe Tarla is our priority. She is our sister, and if she still breathes, we should find her. But after that, I would ask to take my leave to King's Landing. Perhaps I could loudly describe how it is very convenient for me at this time that half the house lies in ruin and that I might be able to take it over myself. Perhaps to draw them out. Something similar. It's a half-baked plan, I admit.
That might work, but you need to be careful.
It's King's Landing. You always need to be careful.
I can have one of our guards go with you. Not accompanying you, but just to be there.
And
That
waste
would be
money on
wise.
all these men.
We can supply just one. My job is to protect the family, and you're still part of this family, whether or not you put that red stripe on your heraldry or not.
Jamie won't need an accompaniment beyond his top men. I'll be going with him.
Oh, if you insist.
See,
It's
an
not
honor
safe
guard
here.
all of my own.
Besides, there's nothing I can do here in this ruin. Beyond think of ghosts.
And a perfectly timed drip comes from the ceiling, landing on one of the letters and smearing the ink. Jamie, I would like you to make an endurance test as you drink to manage the stress of the situation. You are aiming for a 12.
Do you... What?
I'll check the rule book.
Oh no! Oh no!
All right, Jamie. You will reduce all of your tests by 1 bonus dice. So increase your roll by that. This is instead of the -2 because we're getting rid of floating modifiers for the sake of the stream.
I mean, a -1 bonus dice is basically a penalty dice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's better than the -2 dice that it would be if you were having a big party right now. So.
I mean, yeah.
But we can test this again. I would say probably tomorrow. See if you've sobered, or if you make an active effort to sober up. That would be a no.
I'll just write down that drawback now, shall I?
Outside, as this drop kind of draws your attention back to the paper and you all fall silent for a moment, you hear the approach of horses and the talk of men in the yard. It appears some of those that you asked for help have arrived. It's growing late out. It's been a long day of dealing with bodies, managing sickness, and now discussing dark deeds. And there's an ominous feeling in the air as the wind catches through the drafty holes worn in your rundown castle. No one has called for you to attend the yard. You may continue your conversation, or you may take this opportunity to leave. Up to you.
Are we done here? It's enough.
I believe so.
I think so. Asta,
Yes.
I'd like a word with you later on, when this new maester arrives.
Of course. And both of you, if you think that going to King's Landing is the best course of action, do so. You can leave. But come to me before you depart.
All right.
My lord.
All right. Well, we should be down there to greet our new guests.
Yes. Let's see what this is all about.
Let's get this over with.
Out in the yard. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I want to do
No,
a
you go ahead.
dramatic hold. I'll hold Allegra's upper arm just to stop her from moving, just as the other two leave. And very quietly, I will just say to her, looking her dead in the eyes, "Dark wings, dark words."
And she just gives you that nod.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. We pan down, following Adeline through stairways into the foyer. Now absent the bodies of people who had crawled here, now quieted their moans and groans. Only a few sick remain, and they are being tended down in the maester's chambers, or up in their private rooms. Sorry, I said chambers twice. Up in their private rooms. Out in the yard, you see a group of 9. At the lead, a king's guard sits proudly in his seat, rain running off of his armor, and behind 6 silent sisters ride tall. At the flank, 2 more gold cloaks from the capital. It appears King's Landing has answered someone's request for help, or at least a request to manage the bodies of the dead. Adeline and Asta, you left the room first, so you will be first there to see this sight.
I'll just once we get a good look at them, I'll whisper to Asta, oh, gold cloaks. That's odd. Why they send them?
To help us protect in case something else happens.
Well, hopefully.
Well, let's see who they really are and how they can help. And I make my way towards the group with Adeline if she'd accompany me.
I'll follow behind.
Yeah.
The King's Guard dismounts, seeing you approach. And the man off of his horse is shorter than you may have expected from his noble seating. He pushes back the white of his cloak, removes his riding hat, and gives you a polite nod. Cousin, it is good to see you alive.
Oh, I'm very relieved that you've come to help. How have you been? Thank you for coming. It is dire days and dire needs. Have you heard about our uncle?
I'm afraid not. What has happened?
He was here on the day of the incident. I am afraid he did not make it.
Then he is among those the sisters shall attend to. And he looks over his
Absolutely.
shoulder, and you almost see the shudder that kind of goes through him as he looks to these 6 women, all of whom are waiting on their horses.
Yes, let us get to that as soon as possible. Please, let us all dismount. And Adeline here will take the Sound Sisters towards the people that need attendance. You can come with me. And kind of gestures towards Adeline to take the Sound Sisters towards where they needed.
Yeah, I think Adeline will then look toward her other guards and just kind of tell them to take the horses, help the Sound Sisters get to where they're going. Let's go.
And your cousin, Lucan, kind of reaches into his pack and pulls out a letter, a small scrap of paper. The information I received wasn't very clear. I'm not sure if you were under attack or sick.
A little bit of both, I'm afraid. We were all sick, but I'm pretty sure it was a purposeful attack. Someone did this to us. Someone that we couldn't track yet. We have no idea who did it. Trying to find out. We have some plans in motion to figure out things, but nothing concrete. Is there any news in King's Landing? Any word on the streets? Something related?
Afraid not, although a number of people seem concerned about what is happening here.
Naturally so. Look, it's going to be really, really hard to track whoever did this. We've questioned everyone. We've talked to whoever was here on the day, and no one seems to have a clear picture of what happened. The poison, you see, I'm not really sure if it was poison at this point. It messed with our minds. We weren't really aware of what was happening, which makes remembering tiny details even worse and harder. don't know if you ever heard about something like this. We couldn't really find anything.
Poison would make sense for something that works so fast. Suggest via food or drink to affect so many. I was told Lord Valarian is amongst the dead. That's why
Correct.
I'm here.
That is true.
I am to escort his body back to King's Landing.
I understand. But please, come in. Stay for a while. Let's meet the others. And kind
Asta,
of try and go.
you were there at the tourney of the Hand of the King.
Yes.
A body was delivered then too. Your house isn't involved.
Absolutely not. Why would you think so?
You fought with Daemon Blackfire, Asta.
And we paid our price. Price in blood, let me remind you. And this is why I'm head of house. I'm pretty sure that we've paid our price. Rest assured, we are loyal to the king. And we were as surprised as everyone else on the day of the tourney. Still not sure what that was about. Some kind of message, I presume.
Yes. Message that there are those who would still see our fair king unseated from his throne. That blood is still a price to be paid. And sometimes in a shower of silver.
I do not presume to know much about the life of a king, but I'm pretty sure there's always someone that would see the king dead. Isn't that right? And this is why your post exists.
He kind of thinks about your words for a moment. And doesn't really give you an answer. He follows you into the shelter of the castle and looks around. It's smaller than I remember.
Yes, you kind of grow into it, don't you?
How do you find it, being Lord?
Extremely painful. But necessary. It is a legacy that I will see withhold. It is much better than it was a few years back. I think we are managing.
Clearly managing to make a few enemies. Which, in
Sadly,
this game, suggests you are doing something, at least.
correct. I am not so sure if these enemies are new ones or old ones, though. There
You
are
have a
those
suspicion,
that
Asta.
I have. I've always had the same suspicion. Old feuds don't die with promises of marriage, do they?
And he frowns, not following the reference you're making.
Okay. But worry not. I won't act until I have certain proof that whoever did this is indeed who I think it is. And if we do find out who did it, then we shall go through the proper channels and we'll inform whoever is necessary.
The king will, of course, want justice for the lords that lay dead.
I hope so. I really hope so. Tell me, cousin.
Where are our cousins?
Oh,
My cousins.
yes, perhaps we should talk to them as well. And I lead Lucan towards where we last saw Allegra and Jamie. I'm not sure if they have left the room already, but hopefully find them midway.
Where do we find you, Jamie and
I
Allegra?
didn't think we were that far behind.
Okay. Oh, okay.
No.
We could be coming out just as you turn around or
Perhaps
something.
you were kind of hearing the conversation and you were like waiting for the moment to kind of enter.
Fair enough.
Because that seems very Allegra and Jamie. So you, almost on cue, kind of cross down and into this main foyer. And Jamie, you would recognize your cousin Lucan Bywater, one of Donegal's younger sons, who was relatively recently kind of promoted into the King's Guard.
Cousin.
Here they are.
He doesn't bow.
Jamie, he kind of gives a nod bow. I searched for you at King's Landing.
I can imagine you understand why you found me here instead.
I imagine you received much the same letters as we did.
I'm sorry.
Regarding the situation here.
I did, yes. He turns to Allegra.
And Allegra steps forward and she's like, Lucan! And she moves to give him a little hug.
And he kind of stiffly hugs you, and you would have the impression that maybe he doesn't recognize you. Maybe he's not entirely sure who you are. He's not sure if you're Jamie's wife or Asta's wife. He's not entirely sure who you are.
And she's like, okay, that's fine. Okay. And she'd say, sorry, I'm Allegra, your cousin. Older cousin.
Of course, my apologies.
That's quite all right. I think you were quite small the last time I saw you.
There's the briefest kind of flicker on his face as you comment on his stature.
Wait, Jamie's pissed right now, right? Okay, he's just he's going to be like,
Oh no. Allegra, Jamie, Lucan is here because of the Valerians.
Did he die? As far as I was aware, young Lord Valerian was recovering.
Could we maybe make sure that this is still happening?
please, he's probably in the Master's quarters. Come with me. And I will stagger back into the keep. Hopefully, Lucan following me to the Maester.
I think Allegra just sees how wrecked Jamie is, and she like walks up next to him and does like she makes him take her arm so she can like stop him wobbling as he's walking, because this is a bad look. And she's like, "Pull yourself together, Jamie." As they're walking.
Yeah.
Just assume he's going to do that drunk person trying to be sober routine.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Which I will try and deliver some Oscar-worthiness for you tonight.
Nice.
As he rolls his sleeves up.
My apologies, Lucan. The dead were so many, I might have been confused, but if Lord Valerian is indeed recovering, then that is great news. Follow me. Let us make sure that is the case. Can I make...
It'd be very significant news.
It would.
Allegra, is he covering for a mistake?
I have no idea.
Did he die?
As far as I'm aware, he didn't. And I'd have liked to have hoped that Asta isn't that incompetent that he would know.
We'll find out momentarily.
Have you got some spare wine in case we need it after this? I can always count on you in a crisis. And we'll just keep on.
And Asta, for context, you are still feeling some of the effects of being sick. You still have that slight clamminess. You don't have a full fever, but it's kind of still a sick feeling, very under the weather feeling. And we go to the room where the noble dead are laid out, included amongst which is Bryce Rushton, as Allegra had requested he be buried with the rest of the family, and so he's been kind of kept here with Lord Averon, a couple of the Bywater men, and that's it. That's all the nobles we had dead.
You don't have to sound so disappointed, Charlie. Come on.
I was checking my list, and yeah, that's it. Those are the ones we had actually die.
What about Clay?
It's too soon. Allegra
There's white
personally
fur under a
dug.
red curtain.
Allegra personally dug Clay's grave, and she buried him herself.
Okay. Canon. Something Allegra did today. Whilst the bodies of everyone else were burning. She dug a hole.
Please tell me Allegra did a good job. I don't want
It's a ball sticking out.
Oh no.
Except for Ray's like, oh god.
Okay. So, coming into this room, Lord Lucan can see the Silent Sisters already at work, beginning to tend to the dead, and you kind of usher him on down further to the Maester's quarters, where Danella, Diffin, and a number of others are currently being checked upon by the wise woman who had come up from the villages. She's preparing teas and things. It would surprise you, Allegra, to see Danella here because she had been up in her room the last you knew. But she's currently kind of sat at the end of a bed, clutching this small cup of tea, which has been stewed for her.
I think as they come into this room, Allegra will go and sit next to Danella, and she like feels her head for her temperature and just kind of does a gentle like rub on her arm. And then she turns to Lord Valarian and says, well, congratulations, Lord Valarian. The news of your death has been greatly exaggerated.
See? Perfectly fine.
This is why I need to talk to you about things, Asta.
I'm not sure.
My lord, Lucan kind of bows to Lord Valarian. And Valarian kind of gives a weak nod and looks confused as to what is going on. As to why a Kingsguard is suddenly here. And why he's apparently dead. It's clear that he's still kind of feverish and just not processing what is kind of happening.
As you can see, he's still recovering, but still holding on. I think it should be fine. I was in his state about a few days back as well, so it gets better.
Has anyone found Tarla? Where's Lady Tremaine? And he's looking around the room as if almost expecting to see her there. And then looks kind of gormlessly between all of you.
We have looked, but we have not found her.
Not yet.
She's lost.
I'm afraid so.
Likely ran.
And he seems to kind of half begin a word and then stop before the sound even fully forms in his mouth. And he takes a deep sip from the tea. Allegra, scared.
I missed the first half of that.
Yeah.
Danella looks to you just scared.
Mm-hmm.
And you see her hand kind of raised to where a necklace would normally be, but she has no necklace there, and her hand just kind of drops down into her lap.
I think Allegra, she tends to give her like a more comforting sort of embrace, and says to her, "What's the matter? Where's your necklace?"
And she looks a little ashamed almost, just kind of drops her head down. And then glances to Diffan next to her. And then back to you.
Did you give it to Tarla?
How sick are they? Lucan kind of takes a half step back, wary.
If it was poison, which I assume it was, then probably not sick much anymore. Wasn't really sick anyway if it was poison.
Yes. I believe it's just a matter of eliminating the rest of the poison from their systems. It should not be contagious, if that's what you're worried about.
Well, he's clearly in no condition to return to King's Landing.
On that, we agree. If you wish to, you can stay here for a while until he gets better, and then make the journey back to King's Landing.
I was merely ordered to accompany a body. If he is alive, then there is no body for me to accompany. I will accompany our uncle.
Cousin, may I ask, why Lord Valerion? On whose orders are you here to escort him from our premises?
His Great Grace, Prince Baelor.
Very well.
The Valarians are cousins to our king. He kind of drops his voice, so not to, talking about Diffin in front of Diffin.
Of course. I want to read him because I think he's here to collect him because he was his horse.
Okay. So you want to do a kind of an insight to see if he's deceiving you on his reason for being here.
It was more awareness, but I can roll some kind of persuasion-y thing.
I was going to say it's awareness, empathy. I'm just kind of establishing what we are inciting, because you won't be able to obviously decipher specifically what he's lying about, but you will know if he's lying. So you're looking,
The line of inquiry is more like you're clearly here to just take him. He's just a cousin. Sure. Oh, hang on. Drop a dice there. So drop the 2. 11, 14.
You have the impression that is the word, those were the orders he was given, but you sense that he's not entirely convinced by them himself.
Okay.
It was it's almost as if he was reciting to you what he was told.
Sure. Can I go over to Daffin? Or where his name is?
Yeah, Diffin.
Daffin, and I'll lean over probably a little bit too uncomfortably for him at this stage of drunkenness. And I will say, sorry, dear boy, I think the jig is up. But time's time.
I was going to help her, but I didn't.
Help who?
Tarla.
Where did you last see Tarla?
I was walking to find help, and I saw her. Her feet were muddy. Her hands were muddy. There was a chair. I needed to sit down. And you can tell he's kind of sorting it through himself. She didn't want to marry him. I was going to figure it out as soon as Father forgave me. I don't know where she went. I tried to follow her, but I don't know where she went.
Where was she when you saw her?
And he looks out of the door of the Maester's chambers into the corridor beyond. She was here, I think. I was feverish. Nothing really made sense. The castle looked like the walls were moving. The walls are... And he's now just kind of staring at the walls, and you can see this is one of the drier rooms of the castle after the storm. The fire has been kept high, but he's just staring at the wall in front of him.
I would like to go up to the wall and try and open it to see if this is one of the things.
Okay. So for this, I think you are going to need to make a cunning-based test, perhaps, or an
Cunning memory.
Maybe cunning with notice.
Oh, I put a note bonus dice in notice.
As
Awesome.
you're looking for a secret passage here, right? You're looking for a mechanism that's going to reveal it, or where there's a crack in the wall, or where something is being obscured.
Sure. I'm dropping.
But Jamie is using his brain to do this, which is why we're going to use cunning instead of just straight
I'm
up
dropping.
awareness.
So instead of just dropping one bonus dice, I'm dropping 2 for the drunkenness.
Okay.
12.
And so Jamie goes to the wall and kind of fumbles for a moment, but then you catch the edge of a tapestry that's there, and you feel that behind this tapestry the wall is much colder than the rest of this room. And you begin tapping, and you find that eventually, with enough push, this part of the wall gives, but it doesn't fully swing like a door. It just recedes about 1.5 feet.
I'll turn back and I'll say, Adeline.
What is it?
Corridor.
Oh. She'll kind of inspect it. You're right. I think she went down here.
Did we check here before?
I didn't know this existed.
I think I might just be remembering, but I'm not sure exactly what's behind here or if we went round this way. Someone hand me a torch, a candle, anything.
We should check. If it's the same one, we'll find out rather quickly. If it's not, at least we know. Now,
And I'll grab a
get it.
torch of like a light source.
Yeah, there's probably like a lantern of some description in this room that you can use.
Grab it off a sconce.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
You
Alright.
push up. And the air behind here is very cold. And it's a tiny gap. It does remind you of the corridor you had found previously with the handprint on its wall. Only you're thinking about it, and that corridor is opposite this room. So you would go out And there's like a little hallway, and there's the broken wall there, and then there's the well out of the door. But this is very close proximity. And you did notice when you move this wall, it does make noise, a rumbling.
Okay. Had we essentially checked this before, or is this like kind of a new corridor?
This is a
for
new
us?
corridor.
Okay.
You don't believe you've been down this one before. You may have passed it during your kind of loops of the secret tunnels, but you haven't, substantially been into this corridor before.
I'll shine the torch around on the floor particularly as well, and hopefully provoke Adeline to check for tracks, check for evidence, and generally assist her as well.
Yeah, I'll grab another torch and just kind of, look around. See if there's anything I require that someone went through here in the last couple days.
Lucan will look to Danella, Diffan, Allegra, and Asta and suggest that they're moved from this room whilst Jamie and Adeline investigate.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and Allegra will help just get them up and out of bed and move to somewhere.
Okay, so what I'll suggest is Danella and Diffin are essentially taken back to their rooms.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucan will kind of stand guard and be alert if anyone requires him. But that will free Allegra and Asta maybe to have your conversation if you'd like to do that. Or to discuss anything you'd like to discuss.
Yeah, absolutely. So Allegra puts Danella to bed and then grabs Asta in the corridor. She takes him to one of the other unoccupied rooms. Asta.
Yes.
What happened this morning with you telling our cousin that Lord Valarian was dead and then he very much wasn't dead? That's kind of part and parcel of why I am hesitant to leave, but I know that I must. You're supposed to be running this household. You're supposed to know who is here, who is safe, what they are doing at any given time. And yet, you had a maester here working for the Gaunts, and you were surprised that messages got out and in without you knowing about it. I know you are young. I know you have had this house dropped upon you before you were ready, but come on, Asta.
Kind of pauses for a moment, just no emotion in his face whatsoever, just looking at Allegra.
This all happened on your watch. Threats made against members of this household. The household itself getting poisoned. You.
You are right. This all happened under my rule while I was here. But I was here. And the house is much better than it was before. The truth is, you're right. There are details that I'm not 100% sure on. Things that get told incorrectly, but those mistakes are easily fixable. Now, blood feuds, family wars, things that have been in place since before I inherited the house, of past people in charge of it. This is what we're dealing with. It is not because of my actions or things that I have not done or things I haven't taken into account. These things are the result of what our family did before. Choices they made, choices that made us be in this situation. And I appreciate that you might think that you know what's best for us and that you know how to act in certain situations. But the truth is, I'm not sure you do. What would you have me do? Go to King's Landing? Flirt with a couple of girls? Maybe marry our family into a good bloodline? Make us dependent on others? Sure, that is part of it. I understand it. But it's not everything.
Do you know why our family is like this, Asta? Why half of you died at Redgrass? Because you are so focused on the past, focused on things that have been. And while you're thinking of these blood feuds, of selling your fucking horses, the family almost died with you, Asta. You
Yes.
almost did not make it, and you had no one. Because you were so focused on selling those horses that you didn't think to secure the family first. Now, I don't care about a woman that you like. I don't care about a happy marriage for you, Asta. I'm being brutally honest here. I don't. You're my baby brother, and I don't care. Because the only thing that matters is a name. And ours was almost lost. So I want you to change your priorities. I want you to forget those fucking horses for 5 minutes. And I want you to secure this family. Because if you don't, and I'm telling you this, if you do not, if you don't find a woman, if you don't put a baby in her fucking quickly, this house becomes mine. When you die, my son inherits. Not Jaime. He's a Targaryen. Also, it's said. No, Asta. It becomes a Dorsey house. And as much as that would be fantastic for me and my sons, I don't want that part of my family, of my history gone. So what I'm saying to you, Asta, is that you need to sort out your priorities. And you need to do it quickly. Because you're all that's left.
No, please, by all means, continue to assume what I worry about the past. Please continue, lecture me. I am the first fucking person in this house that has looked forwards. Try to get us out of this stupid rundown castle. Get us somewhere on our own merit. I don't care about true love or happy marriage. Think I do? No, absolutely not. But I don't want to marry us off the house hastily, some kind of second grade outer bloodline, just so we can be a little bit better. No, I'm working to make things a lot better. I'm working to have a victory in the long run. And if that bothers you, then maybe you can go back to House Dorsey and take care of your children, and maybe educate them. And when I die, maybe they'll inherit it. Who knows? But I'll know that I've done my best. And if I succeed, you might hear the Tremaine name, not associated with you, but with greatness. Do you understand? Look.
Okay, what I would
This-
like to do, Nuno, is have you make a roll.
Okay.
As you attempt to persuade Allegra of your viewpoint. Or perhaps you feel you are inciting her to do something else. Or you tell me exactly what your goal is, but we're gonna try and keep this intrigue simple.
Okay.
So we can just focus on the role play because you guys are doing awesome and we'll resolve it yourselves. But no.
Yeah, no, I think this is more of a convince of like, sure, you have your opinion, but for once, try and understand others' point of views and let me know, let me do what I'm doing, because it's actually going decent, except for the poison, which I think is a thing of the past and not a thing of the present. So yeah, I think convince would probably be good.
Okay. So that'll be persuasion, convince versus Allegra's intrigue, defense.
Oh,
20.
Jesus. Okay, my intrigue defense is 10.
Okay, so with a double, that becomes a crit with 1 crit on the table, based on our little cheat sheet rules, which I handily didn't bring with me. I will go and look that up in a moment. But Allegra, because you also made a compelling argument, I'd like you to roll for your point of view to see if this is gonna hit Asta in any meaningful way, even if it's in the back of Asta's mind later. I'm thinking persuasion, convince as well.
Yep.
Oof.
Hold up. There was 2 ones there. I get to re-roll them because it's a persuasion test.
Okay.
So that's 22.
22.
My
Okay,
defense
and
is
Nuno,
11,
what is
so-
your... So that's exactly double as well, and this time with 2 crits. Alright, so... what is your will, Nuno?
2.
2.
2?
Alright,
Yes.
so... that would be a 4 total, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, degrees of success. Right, Sam, we multiply for degrees of success.
From the crit, Asta gets 4 base composure damage per degree of success.
Per degree, that is correct, okay.
If you are 10 over her
That'd be
influence, it'll be 3 degrees. If you're 15 points over, it'll be 4 degrees.
Okay, so that's 3. So 3 times 4 is 12. So that's 12 composure damage for Allegra, absorbed by your rating, Susie, whatever your relationship status is.
I'm still in.
And Sam, what does 2 crits for Susie do on the table?
Susie gets +4 to her base composure damage towards Asta, multiplied by degrees of success, and I think it's 3 degrees again.
Again.
It is,
Yeah.
it is,
What is your willpower, Allegra?
My will is 4.
Okay, so that's 8 times 3, which is 16, 24.
24.
Minus your soak, Nuno.
Yeah, I don't think it matters.
Okay. So both of you significantly hit each other with your arguments. But Allegra's point will drive into you, Asta.
Yeah.
I think Allegra she's pissed. But I feel like she knows that her argument hit home. She's going to turn and move to the door, open it, and very dramatically turn around. Consider the house's future, or don't. Marry, or don't. I don't care anymore, Asta. I'm leaving. Slam door, and she's gone.
10 seconds later, just clattering noises from inside the room. Asta just breaking shit apart, basically.
And Allegra, you know that your brother is trying.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's she feels bad because it's definitely her taking out a lot of frustration of what's happened and her grief on him as well. And I think she goes outside to where she buried Clay, and she's just gonna have a quiet 10 minutes and a little cry and just get some air.
And dusk has taken quickly tonight, with the storm clouds keeping the sky grey, and you are alone in the shadow of House Tremaine. Meanwhile, Jamie and Adeline, you push down and into the corridor to investigate. It's a tight space. This is one of the tighter corridors that you've explored in your time. It's almost, like an air gap between walls. But it is very cold, and you can feel a breeze pushing up and towards you, which means somewhere ahead there is an opening that the wind is able to push into. And following down in the dark, you notice that the ground where you stand is dry and free from mud that you'd found in the other corridors. But up ahead, as you wave that torch, you can see the shine, a reflection of liquid.
I think as Adeline's been going through these tunnels, she's been getting more frustrated. It's like, why the fuck are there so many of these in this hold? And just keep going. Just figure out where this goes. We have to figure out where this ends up. This could have easily been a way in as well as a way out.
And Jamie, are you taking the lead as you have the flame, or are you going to hand it off to Adeline?
I know Adeline's better at this than me, so I'm going to let her do her thing.
Okay. Adeline, I need you to make an awareness notice check, please.
Sweet. Awareness notice. Let's see. Make sure, yep. 5 and 1. I'm gonna re-roll that 1. Cool. Okay.
Nice.
12.
Okay, so that's a total of 12,
20.
17? 20?
20.
Perfect. Yep. 21? Anyway, it's high. It's a big number. It's good enough. Up ahead, you hear something, and you strain your eyes into the gloom, and your ears push forward too. That rush of the wind, it's howling, it's blowing, but there's something in it that's sounds like someone's in pain. Someone at the end of this corridor is in agony. And you can see as you follow down this corridor, it's sloping downwards. And the further down the slope you get, the muddier and damper this corridor becomes, and colder too. And you push forwards. But do you push forwards hastily, cautiously?
I think Adeline's just gonna go hastily. I think it's someone here. I don't want to lose them if they decide to go further in. I want to make as much headway.
Okay, so there'll be another awareness notice. And Jamie, you will notice your cousin pick up pace. The torchlight is flickering and the breeze is almost blowing it back in towards your face.
I think as Adeline is going for, she's gonna be like, I think there's someone up there.
I like to think cinematically he's getting like lost. He's getting left behind a little bit, and there's kind of flame in his face and stuff, and he's doing that filmic kind of Adeline. Adeline, as he's like stumbling forward, trying to follow her.
Yeah, that's 10.
Well, it's the same.
17.
I think it's 18, 17, 18. So that's 17.
17.
Yeah.
Because you dropped that 2 instead.
You pick up pace, and as you're going downhill, your boots slide a little across the surface of these stones, and it's tight, and you're having to tilt and turn to keep that torch where you can see the light, but not, whack it into a wall or lose it. And up ahead, you see something down on the ground, and that sound comes again, a cry of agony. Only as you wrench the torch forward for a better look, you see this white face, this white skull-like form staring back at you, and there is a rush of wings towards you and talons outstretched. And I would like you to roll initiative, as you are now under attack. Jamie, for the sake of this, even though you are behind and struggling in the dark, you will also need to roll initiative.
I'm going last,
Just so
Charlie.
I know where you are. Okay, you're just gonna decide.
I'm gonna go last. I'm going last.
Right.
Got
That's
fucking gargoyles in our castle. What the fuck is this?
Wait, what is our cat? Yeah, we are cursed. Okay, the armor penalty, is that off the hold dice, or is it off?
It depends how Charlie wants to do it. Armor penalty is usually a static modifier to the result, so...
let's just
Oh,
do
so it's
static
just-
modifier for today.
Alright,
Okay.
so it's just negative, so it's just 2 off the result?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure. That is agility and like quickness, right?
Agility,
Yes.
quickness, yeah.
Alright.
Sorry, I should have said.
16.
All right, you will be able to act first as whatever this is launches up and towards you.
Oof, I think just instinctually, like it's so like tight in here. I think I'll just try and jam this torch and whatever it is. I don't have a good look at it.
Okay, so roll this as a fighting attack. I will allow brawl if you have bonus in brawl.
Okay. Fortunately, do not. 13.
A 13 will succeed. 1 degree.
Okay. Torch damage.
Yeah, I was just looking at something comparable.
Yeah, I was just scrolling as well to see what we could
Let's
do.
think.
Let's treat this kind of
Like a club.
a
Cudgel
Yeah,
club.
club. Bludgeon specialty, athletics -1, but offhand +1. So if what you're doing is an all-out, just both hands struggling away at it, the offhand quality lets you add another point of base damage to your damage. So whatever your athletics is -1, that is your base damage.
Okay.
And then if you're wielding, if you're just using your kind of fist in the other hand, then you can add 1 to that base damage as well.
Okay, so it's -1 +1. Okay. So it's 3.
Okay. So you strike at this creature and you see kind of embers scatter away into the dark and sizzle against the damp of the walls, and the creature lurches up and high and away from you and disappears into the gloom of this narrow pressed space, and then out from the dark launches down at you, and you have no chance to dodge this, unfortunately, as it's essentially making what would be considered a stealth attack from the dark towards you. And let me make sure I'm reading this right. "13 to hit."
13, yep.
Great.
Combat defense is 9, so probably similar.
All right, so same degrees of success as 1. And that is 3 damage as you feel something sharp tear at the flesh of your face and hands as you've got that torch out to defend yourself.
Yeah. I think my armor rating's higher, so that negates the damage, right?
That soaks,
Yeah.
whatever, yeah.
Yep.
So it'll
Yep, so I think
cut into the leather of what you're wearing, or... Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think she's using her, like, she has, like, one of those, like, enforced, like, gauntlets for archery. She's kind of that's maybe, like, shielding off a little bit. Like, she, like, kind of puts her arms up.
And Jamie, ahead of you, you can hear this scream, this cry of someone in huge pain, and see Adeline swing the torch at the darkness. You can make an awareness notice test if you'd like to see what Adeline is swinging at, or you can take another action.
I'd like to move in and make a cautious attack, please. So he's not like launching himself at it to try and stop what's ever happening. He doesn't really know what she's fighting, but she's fighting something off. So he's gonna make his way up there, and just whilst he's trying to like basically wave whatever it is or whoever it is away with the torch, he's gonna try and get a bit of a look.
Okay. So you get down to Adeline.
Okay. I don't
And
think he's
go
brought
ahead.
his sword with him. That's the thing. Like, I was literally thinking this. Back in the corridor, I was thinking, he's gonna like, this is like, he's got some normal noble's garb on, he's got like a goblet of wine, or he's got like, now he's got a torch. That's it. Like, he's not brought his freaking sword and armor, is he?
It's not at his waist, yeah.
So we've got this torch, and we've got my full combat defense. So, my cautious attack... give me
You're going to need
-1
to make
dice
an
to my
awareness
fighting
notice test first, as
Okay.
when you get down to Adeline, you can't see anything. It's just the torch. It's obvious something has struck your cousin, but it's dark down here, and you're peering into the darkness. And on an 18, you look down to begin with, and then you pan up, and up in the darkness is this white face staring down at you. Deep, boring black holes where the eyes should be. This strange shape. And as Adeline's kind of moving the torch, you kind of get glimpses of its shape, and you can see twisted talons reaching out of the dark as it can see that you've seen it, and you can make your attack now.
Okay.
If you'd like.
This is more to kind of wave it away, I think. That's my kind of narration bit anyway. So this would normally be just a straight 4, but I'll drop 1 from the 12.
Okay, succeeds.
1
Just
degree.
1 degree.
Athletics -1 is 2. But I'm not wielding anything more offhand, so 3 points of damage.
Okay, so you kind of lean over Adeline to kind of strike away whatever this thing is that is attacking her, and you kind of see it shift backwards. You've hit something, but it's hard to tell what, as you're kind of overextending. You can feel the drunkenness swinging in you. Move, and it's moving up and away and down the corridor away from you towards that howling wind. And Adeline, it would be your turn.
Okay. Now, if it's going out of the way, I am going to actually, if I can, hand the just like shove the torch in Jamie's, like just in his hand. Just take this, and then she's gonna. She has a bow, but it's not ungainly. So, do you think she could just take it out and try? I want to shoot this thing. I really want to shoot this thing.
It's gonna be difficult in this case. So I would impose a -1d to your roll.
Okay. Cool.
But I will let you take a shot. But you will find it difficult if Jamie doesn't move back and out of your way.
That's fine.
If it takes up my turn, I'll do that.
Don't worry about it. I think hopefully. Because I can still take. I can instead of moving, I can take the aim. Right.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
And that's 1 bonus. That's -1. That's -1 dice. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you'll always roll everything and then take away what you need.
Take 1 shot. I need to make this 14. Ooh, wow, that was a lot of.
It was a lot of ones.
One.
Do you
That
have
was a
any
lot.
rerolls on ones for your marksmanship?
Not for marksmanship.
Okay. So you loose this arrow, and you're kind of tracking that movement more than the creature itself, and you catch the white edge of wings, and your arrow goes sailing out, and that is 1 degree of success still, but you do strike it.
That's 6 points of damage.
Okay. And there's a a sickening sound as you hear the arrow kind of push through whatever this creature is. And there's a panicked flap of wings as it's like a bird trapped indoors, and you realize it is a bird. It's a huge bird. Bigger than you think, almost as large as a man when its wings are outstretched. And it's scrabbling now on the floor down along this corridor to escape you. And it's kind of half flying, half waddling.
Mm-hmm. I think
And it's basically going to use its turn to panic and flee the space.
okay. Yeah, Alan has every intention of like getting rid of this thing. We can't have like giant person-sized birds running around in the walls. This
In the meta, I think I know what this is, but I'm not going to say.
what the hell is this thing?
So you pursue. Are you going to pursue it in the darkness, or are you going to try and take another shot as it's attempting to exit, as Jamie's kind of moving back out of your way so you could make that first shot?
I'll make another shot at it.
I mean, if it's fleeing, I'd want to waft it away.
It's kind of 20 or so feet beyond you, so it's kind of now with it out. I mean, you can keep waving at it if you like, Jamie. I'm not going to stop you. Yep. Get away! Away, foul creature! To the darkness!
Yeah. He'll
Right,
move
Adeline,
forward and do that after Adeline's turn.
reload your bow and
Yeah.
attempt another shot. It remains a difficult space for you to work in. So it's going to be minus
Okay.
1d again.
Minus 1d, same thing. All right, let's aim. $20.
Okay, that is 3 degrees of success.
Plus the. Oh boy, this thing is.
Oh no, sorry, 2 degrees of success. I can't math.
Okay.
2 degrees.
So to say, if that's double, it's. Don't think it is.
I get
No,
like
not
a
quite.
+2 if it's double. The 6.
It's not double. It's
Okay,
just
it's
2
not
degrees
double.
of success.
Oh, 2 degrees. Okay. And I do damage for 2 degrees. 12, I think.
Yes. Okay. And you line up another arrow and you loose and you kill this creature. It kind of collapses into a hodgepodge of wing, kind of at strange angles, and you see it kind of trembling and squirming for a few seconds before it stops.
Jamie, over here with the torch. What the hell was that thing?
Charlie, can I roll
Yes.
something to maybe confirm what I suspect out of character?
It would be knowledge education for you, I would guess.
Can I roll to be sober yet? This is very sobering experience.
You were drinking the whole way
no.
down to the Maester's corridor with Allegra.
Oh no.
Okay,
The
fine.
adrenaline hasn't.
This would normally be 4 take away 1. It's 4 take away 2 dice.
And
11.
11. Shauna, if you can roll survival, I'm gonna say track or hunt.
Cool.
No, hunt. Survival
Okay.
hunt, please.
Wait, never mind. Oop, that was.
Okay.
Oh, no, that's. Where's the dice? There they are. Oof. 6.
Okay, so you push forward and it looks to you a very oversized bird, a bird of prey, judging by the talons. It's hard to tell because the way at this tunnel mouth, as you now realize this is now the opening to the outside, it's kind of contorted with its wings and you can see your 2 arrows sticking out of it. Jamie getting closer you stoop, you try and look around, Adeline, maybe push past for a better view, and there's something about that face, something that you remember from stories, from research into legends and creatures of mythology and things like that, and you remember hearing of a creature, an ally of death, some would say, a bad omen to kill, others would say a bird attracted by corpses. And you think this is a corpse owl.
Okay. Not the white
Although
raven I
you've
was
never
expecting.
seen one yourself.
But fair.
No, it's not raven. It's recognizable because its white markings make it appear nearly skeletal when it flies in dark conditions. And it's mostly because you've been researching curses and blood feuds that it's kind of on your mind. Omens of death. And maybe you kick it with your boot to turn it over and you see that face again, and it's those dark eyes just staring at you, although it's long gone. And the wind is just pushing past this tunnel mouth now and up the tunnel. You're outside, but looking out beyond, it's very dark here.
I'm trying to kick it out of the gap. We've got this little outlet. I'm just trying to get it out of the house.
Just because you're drunk and it amuses me, I'd like you to make a kick roll.
What do you want
Make
from
this
me?
as a fighting brawl or an agility quickness.
I mean, I'll take fighting.
Okay.
12.
So you swing your boot and you kick it, and the creature is light for its size, but that's the way the birds are. And it kind of tumbles away, and feathers begin to kind of molt from it, and it rolls, and you can see that this continues to slope down ahead of you, but it's a dirt track now, and on either side there's kind of large, someone's kind of carved a valley in this space, but you're now outside, and overhead there are just these trees hanging, which is obscuring any light that you may get from moon or stars in the breaks of the clouds.
I look back to Adeline.
She'll like look around, it's like, well, if she went this way, at least we have a direction we can look through. If she's not in the keep, hopefully she ended up out here, but I don't know how. I don't like the chances of her being out here for this long. I'll have.
We should get reinforcements. And my
I agree
arms
with
and
that.
armor.
We should do this as soon as we can.
Jamie, you
back.
may make a sober roll. As the cold night air is swirling around you and that hideous creature stares at you from where it lays in the middle of this track. Adeline, you can make a survival memory test to try and identify where you are.
8.
Okay. You are still very drunk, sir.
Thanks.
14.
Adeline, looking around for kind of markers, trees that you might recognize, paths like this. You know there are a number of such paths through the woodland that kind of borders your land.
Mm-hmm.
Not next to the crooked tree, that's far away from where you are right
Yeah.
now, but it's that kind of area, that kind of woodland crops of land. You think you're somewhere there, but this isn't a familiar path to you. This isn't a hunting trail.
We are surprisingly past the keep. How many of these things are there? Like, if there are these here, some could have got in through any number of ways.
Do you think whoever did this came in here this way?
I don't know. It's a possibility. It's a good way to. You saw where it ended up. You can get right into the hold through this way.
Right. Into the Maester's chambers.
Like we know a lot of these secret tunnels, but the last day or two, there are many, many, many more that we don't know about. And if someone somehow got information, got old plans, they could come in and out without anyone knowing. And if Tarla came out through here, we're gonna have to find her fast, because she was not dressed for going outdoors, and the nights have been damp and stormy. If she's still alive, I fear she's in a bad way, and we have to find her if we do.
Let me go back. I will get men and my arms and armor, and then we will go and find her.
Good. I'll try and figure out my way back, pinpoint where this is in comparison to the Famine's Hold. I'll meet you there. And take that thing back with you.
Sorry.
Just to let the others know not to go poking around in there. Right.
Jamie, do you collect the creature and return to the keep?
I thought it'd flown away, to be honest.
It's dead. You kicked it away.
Oh. Sure.
Okay. So you will collect that and carry it back to the keep. And Shauna, am I right that Adeline's kind of going to scout to see if she can find the way back to the castle that's not down the tunnel, or are you going to go?
Yeah, like she wants a better
Mm-hmm.
idea of where this terminated.
Okay, so that'll be an orientation for you. I think it's survival orientation.
Okay. Ugh. 6.
You wander lost in the woods for a little while. Pan back to the hold. Allegra, you're outside at the grave that you dug for your beloved dog. Enjoying a moment of quiet, alone. You hear the horses in the stable making small whinnies to each other, small conversations perhaps. And then you hear the low kicking of an angry horse.
I think Allegra mutters under her breath about that damn horse before she heads to the stables to see if she can try and calm R'hllor.
Okay. So you make your way up to the yard. You can see the Silent Sisters' horses are all kind of tied up outside along a long tying point. And you go into the familiar stable, and there's not emptiness to it. The horses that had been here sold to the Wills, and the absence of that man with his unusual gait, the familiar Bryce Russian who had been in this stable all of your life, part of this world, you pass your horse, Cinder, who is resting, quiet, glossy-maned, well-tended, and push down the long row to where Relor's small pen is. And you can see the wood of it just reverberating as this horse is beginning to kick more and more angrily against the gate that holds it in.
So Allegra is gonna duck into where she knows they hide the little sweet treats that Rolor especially likes. I know that Tarla has got a little stash in here that she thinks nobody knows about of treats to give Rolor. So she pulls out like a little sugar cube or something. And she doesn't go right in front of the stable, the door that he's kicking the shit out of, because she's not an idiot. But she makes that sort of like come here pony sound, you know, the little clicky sound that people do with their mouths that I can't do. Yeah. And she's gonna just, you know, speak softly to the devil horse.
Okay. This is gonna be an extremely challenging test of a 15. And it's gonna be animal handling charm. Relor is not in a good mood. And you are not his favorite.
I am going to use my little blue friend up here to not get kicked to death. So that's an extra keep die, right?
Correct.
All right, this is just 4d6. Let's go. 15! I'm the greatest.
So you watch as Relor is kind of bouncing onto their hind legs and kind of jumping down full force with the front two. And then you notice the ear twitch as you go to that familiar hiding place of the treats. There's a kick, not rearing this time. And you approach carefully from the side, making sure the horse can see you, but you are not in front. And you extend the hand with that white crushed sugar on it. And there's a like a furious huff in your direction. But the horse doesn't kick and it doesn't bite you, which is good for this horse.
And she's gonna, while he's distracted, like nibbling the sugar, she's gonna very gently rub his nose with her other hand and just be like, I don't know where she is either, do you? Where did Tarla go, Relor? Where did she go?
And on the mention of the name Tarla, it's almost a scream of anger, and the horse kind of backs up again. And you can tell
like,
this creature is not best pleased and probably about to try and break out. So you can use your reaction.
Move to the side. I'm hopping like so far to the side.
That's very wise, as I just rolled 3 6s. So what happens is Relor literally charges this door like an angry bull, 4-4, and the 2 hooves come down and there's a splintering of wood as this door that's been kicked repeatedly, reinforced by Bryce at one time, just crumbles beneath it. And the horse is now stood and it turns in this kind of small space to begin walking out, and you are in its path. Its ears are kind of twitching.
Okay, so Allegra's been around horses a lot, so she's not moving into its path, kind of doing that, trying to calm it, you know, doing the whoa, 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 and down motions, but trying to also keep herself safe. So she's kind of at the front, but at the side of it. So if it charges, it's gonna just run like past her rather than through
she
her.
can throw herself flat.
She can.
Okay. So make me another animal handling charm test.
It's just 3 this time. 11.
Okay. You call for Relor to calm. Whoa, easy. And the horse, you can see it kind of looks at you and there's a glint in its eye. And for the briefest of moments, you think you see fire. actual fire glowing amber in this creature's eyes, and it's terrifying. And your breath catches, and you feel frozen to the spot, like in a nightmare where you want your legs to move and they won't move. And then the horse just walks slowly past you. And as soon as it reaches the open stable door, it bolts.
Okay, so Allegra is going to dash to her stall with Cinder, throw open the door, and mount up. Like, there's no bridle or anything. She's just riding Cinder and going to chase after R'hllor.
Okay, so what we'll do then is we'll have an animal handling ride test.
Okay.
What I'm going to do is set the difficulty harder rather than penalize you with dice. Because your riding skill is still the same. It's just slightly more difficult because you don't have all of your saddle. You have very little to grip onto beyond the horse's neck. But this is still your horse.
That's a 13.
Okay, and you give chase into the night. The ground is slippery. And it's hard terrain, and R'hllor is a fast horse, and it's always been an incredibly fast horse. And you push, and you begin to gain ground as R'hllor seems to be distracted, uncertain which way to run, so much open countryside to blast through, and changes its mind at a turning on the road to charge in a new direction. And you've caught up at this turning, but as soon as it hits that even road, he is pushing, he is running fast, and you can see the steam pouring out of this animal as it's snorting and it's pushing itself as hard as it can run. I need another animal handling ride if you wish to continue your chase.
Yeah. And Allegra's calling after him, and there's tears in her eyes as, like, and part of her in her brain is, this is Tarla. Tarla and R'hllor are one unit, and R'hllor is gone, which means Tarla is going to be gone. And so she's, beyond all sense, she's chasing this damn horse. With a 10.
Okay. R'hllor is picking up speed, and it's nearly unnatural. He'll hit a puddle in the road and just keep blasting through a cascade of water and filth just pushed away. Whereas you will reach that puddle and your horse thinks twice, not knowing how deep the water is. And you're pushing down. Asta, you hear the scream of R'hllor. You hear the busting of wood in the stable and the sounds of horses running.
Okay.
You can ignore it if you like. I just thought you'd like an update.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think, especially if Allegra is screaming after the horse as well, right? That's what Susie said. Yeah. In that case, Aster would rush towards the stables and try and yeah. He'll take his time. He'll probably saddle up and just go looking for them after a few minutes.
A couple of the house guard will move to come with you, along with one of the gold cloaks from King's Landing, who apparently wasn't sure what he was meant to be doing there, so he just wants to join in, to be honest. And you take the time, you throw on the saddle. You are an experienced horse person, so it doesn't take you exceptionally long, but it will still take you time, especially when you make sure those straps are done up properly, so you're not just going to go straight over the horse with the saddle slips.
Yeah.
Allegra, I need you to make another ride test as you continue to chase down R'hllor.
Okay.
We didn't specify this, but did you grab any rope or anything, or did you literally just hop on your horse and chase after the horse?
She like looped some rope over her shoulder in the attempt of, like, if she catches this horse, maybe.
Okay.
11.
This horse is fast. I'm a little bit scared about how fast this horse is.
Don't like how fast this horse is.
And you're pushing down hard when R'hllor makes a run, and it's up a hill. Up and away from Tremaine land. It's almost as if he's making the fastest route possible off of your land. But this hill is steep and it is slowing his run. But he is still faster than you at this pace. And you can see as he crests the hill, he stops for a moment, skidding in the muddy earth, and begins to pace.
Okay, he stopped. Like, this is a great opportunity to gain some ground and get him. So she pushes on.
All right, another red check, please.
Oh, there we go. 14.
Okay. It is pitch black out here, but you squint,
Uh-oh.
and as you reach that crest, ooh,
Oh, you went laggy. We lost
but that
half
doesn't
of
do
you.
anything. All right,
It's good.
so
It's good.
you're pushing up the hill. It's dark, and you're willing your horse on and putting blind faith that the earth is there beneath you. You hit the crest, and the clouds break, and the moon comes pouring down upon you and Cinder, who stares out towards R'hllor. And R'hllor rears up aggressively as if about to attack your horse.
This fucking horse!
You chased
All right,
after him.
Susie, do you have the stats for Cinder?
Hang on. Where's the horses? Steeds. He is a 3. She.
She, I think.
I think she's a she.
Yeah, I think that's what we said.
Yeah.
And I can never
Okay.
remember if R'hllor's a boy or a girl, so.
I have
the devil
her,
horse.
I have her stats. Oh boy.
Okay. Does a 11 hit?
Yes.
Oh.
All right. That will be. Sorry, what page are you on, Susie? I wrote down one bit.
I've got
the other bit.
I've got the little book. I don't have the big boy. But it's 272 on this. It's right at the back. Charlie, is it not enough
Yes,
that you
Fran?
killed my dog that you're coming for my horse?
Can I say you're about to fight the devil
I
the
just buried
moonlight.
him today.
on the hill?
Just saying. Mm-hmm.
The devil in the moonlight on the hill. So
Uh-huh.
a horse comes down and strikes at Cinder with the front legs. That is 3.
3? Okay.
Great.
Oh. Okay. Cinder's okay, everybody. She's okay.
And you see R'hllor kind of looking at you, ears twitching, and you have the feeling that was a warning.
Mm-hmm.
But it is your turn.
Okay, so hypothetically speaking, just gauge my option here. If I were to attempt to lasso the devil horse, what sort of check would you want from me for that?
It would be an agility quickness
Excellent.
as part 1. Keeping hold of it is going to be strength based.
Mm-hmm.
But to get
Okay.
a noose over and onto this horse's head, it'll be agility quickness.
How stupid should I be, fam?
It's R'hllor. I am.
Alright, I'm gonna be stupid. I'm gonna try and lasso this fucking horse. You gotta press the big red
Oh,
stupid
boy.
button.
If we find out that this horse has been murdering people along the roads, this is not gonna be.
So I'm gonna roll big 2 die to do this, fam. 8.
Oh no. Oh no.
I don't like this look that Charlie is frozen on. It speaks death of me.
It's not great.
Oh no.
Oh, there we go. I'm back.
Mhm.
So you swing at this loop of rope. It's less like a lasso action than it is just a throw the loop at the head of the horse.
Uh-huh.
And it kind of half cocks on its head and it just throws its head back and throws the loop kind of off and away. And the horse backs up.
Oh, fuck.
Oh no.
I will say you can take another action if you'd like.
I would like to pray to the seven and
You pray to Relore. That's what happens.
write my last will and testament. No, I'm gonna back up with Cinder. I'm gonna have Cinder just back up.
Can you back up along the backbone of this hill and watch Relore? And Relore unleashes a fit of speed, but charges past you and blitzes away and down the steep side of the hill, on the other side from you, down, rushing towards the river that you know is kind of that way. And as you turn, you crane to follow. For a moment, you think you see that figure again, that stranger, the knight in the dark. And he's walking slowly up the hill towards you. And the clouds cover over the moon and everything falls into darkness. And in the back of your mind, in that space just beside your ear, you hear the whisper, "How many?"
Allegra turns Cinder the way she came and spurs her to go back to Famine's Hold.
You hear Relore's cries in the dark for a while, but they fade as you turn back towards Famine's Hold, and you see coming up the road towards you Asta and a number of men. They are saddled up and riding.
Allegra,
Yes?
what happened? What is this?
Was Relore. He broke out of the stables and ran away.
Is he gone?
As far as I know, he went over the hill. I couldn't catch him. He turned to attack Cinder.
Damned horse, always the same thing. Now of all times. Go back. We'll try and find him.
Just be careful, he's in a foul mood.
Yeah, I don't intend on getting anywhere close to this devilish horse.
And she takes the rope off her shoulder and tosses it. You might need that.
Pass it on to one of the men.
And I'll just head back to the hold.
Okay. Nuno, you can make a survival track with, I'll say a plus 1d because you have the men assisting you.
Cool. Oh. Back at my shenanigans, folks. 5.
It's dark out and you follow Allegra's directions. You and the men kind of scout around, but it's night. It's a dark horse. And it's cold.
Yeah, I think you'd probably look for a while, but if we don't find any tracks, then I would just say, well, gone. Gotta cut our losses. Let's go back. This is dangerous. And just go back to Famine's Halls. No point in luring accidents.
Oh, look, your sister's words had an effect on you.
Yeah.
Jamie, you emerge up into the maester's chamber, and the wise woman is stirring something in the pot on the fire, and she turns, and she covers her mouth to brace the scream that is about to erupt as she sees what you carry. Horror. It's deep in her features.
Don't worry, it's dead.
That's what I was afraid of. 'Tis bad luck. 'Tis terrible bad luck to kill one of those things.
There is no such thing as luck. As he plonks it on the table.
And she shrinks back and eyes it with this kind of dark fascination. You shouldn't keep it here. Enough death in here.
Where to put it then?
You don't know, far away from me.
He will just leave it there on the table as he heads out to try and find some of the household guards, not the men he'd employed, because he wants kind of more loyal men to be going after Tarla. So he'll round up, half a dozen house guards and grab his arms and armor.
Okay. Shauna, you do eventually find a path and figure out where you are, although you're not sure you can figure out your way back to where you'd come from. It was dark, and the trees kind of led you in circles for a long while. You walk the road back to House Tremaine. Asta's returning with the men after a failed hunt for Law. Allegra, you're inside and alone in Tremaine's household, and you hear Jimmy getting ready to leave.
So I think Allegra, that's who I am, not Shauna. I will go up to Jamie. Did you find anything?
He's doing up his braces, metal braces over a chainmail shirt under a kind of soft brigandine. The corridor led out to a path out somewhere. It's very secluded trees. That I couldn't get a good look of where exactly it was, but we're going to head out there and we're going to find Tarla.
In the dark?
We'll have torches.
All right. Do you expect there will be a skirmish?
I don't know what to expect. Is there more of those winged things then? I'd rather get rid of it.
Be safe. Oh, and if you see that damned horse, bring it back.
What?
R'hllor escaped. Almost killed me and Cinder.
Good. Strong.
Good?
With sarcasm.
Yes. And it's probably fussing with his bracer. She's like, and she'll do up his bracer for him. Because trying to do stuff one-handed sucks. So she fixes up his thing. And then she kind of pats his cheek.
Make a
Be
square
safe.
of you yet.
Oh, please.
And he turns to go, cloak and all, swoosh, etc. And with the household guard, we'll head down that corridor again, awkwardly making their way through the little gap, and then I reckon probably because of how narrow you said it was, slowly working their way down, and then eventually when it comes a bit more open and they get out into the kind of wooded bit, hopefully we can find Adeline, depending on how far she's gone.
Okay, so this is going to be a survival track check to begin with.
Good. Am I still drunk?
Why don't you make a roll and we'll find out.
If only alcohol wasn't a poison.
If only. If only.
If only Purple hadn't have given Sam that bane.
I'm trying to get 12 on 2 dice.
It's a bad time. It's been a stressful night. Jamie has had a rough time since he's been back at the Keep.
Yeah. All right.
Alright. Do you gain any benefits from your cadre for this? I guess not. Oh no, because they're not with you. It's the house guard. Okay. I'll give you roll another 1d. Just roll a d6. And...
That was a 1.
Okay.
So am I rolling now? Survival.
Yes.
Cool. Same deal.
Yeah.
Where the fuck were you? Oh.
The drunk senses.
So you sup from your wineskin and you push out and you search the woods with your group of men, and they come across a small campsite of sorts, an old fire pit. They estimate maybe 2-3 days at most since the fire was here. Is there anything you'd like to further investigate here, or do you want to push on and continue tracking?
Just for the sake of Sam's stupidity, does that place it before or after the poisoning?
That would probably be around the night of the storm.
Okay.
It could be like a day before or a day after. It's in the right window.
Sure.
Because timey-wimey. Around then.
Yeah, wherever you want to place it. So it's around the time of the feast, the poisoning. If there is any evidence of anyone or anything, I would like to try and get it.
Okay, so this will be I'm going to say awareness notice.
Got better dice in that. I'm going to be rolling 5, take away 2. Still pissed. Gets a 13.
Okay. So you look around and you find kind of bones of whatever had been eaten by these people. And you find a small knife, kind of crudely made. And that's probably the best artifact that you can find here amongst these things. It's definitely not kind of like house silverware or anything. This is probably a multi-use knife used for kind of preparing food and outdoors related activities.
I was going to ask if it was like crudely made as in not forged, but it sounds like it's like a normal like forged knife. It's just a bit pants.
Yeah, you maybe looking at it would kind of suspect that the blade's been taken from something else and kind of given a new handle.
Yeah. Fair dues. Okay.
But this isn't like a flint knife. This is definitely made of metal.
And we haven't seen Adeline in our travels at all.
No, you've not come across Adeline.
Oh, okay. We'll kind of push forward, I guess, see if there's anything else here. Try and catch up with her.
Okay, so make another survival track roll.
Unless I missed something. What was that? That was that. 7.
The men look around and they can see evidence that people have kind of traveled through this area. But in the dark, it's next to impossible to tell which direction they went, how recently it was. It's kind of like someone snapped a twig on this tree. Kind of things that are being found. There's some disturbed kind of leaf litter. But it's nothing super substantial. You're relieved not to find any more faces in the dark with talons. You're relieved not to find any more bodies in the dark.
Oh. Not getting anything.
F's in chat for Charlie.
Oh no. She's been got by the
have
owl.
another beautiful lag spike.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna swap back to Google Chrome, I think. But anyway. Thanks, Firefox, you tried. So
So just say all that again, because I don't think I got much of it.
Okay, so you're kind of relieved not to find any bodies, any more corpse owls. You know, there's no smell of decay. which would help if Tarla had maybe stumbled out here to die, essentially. But you also find kind of no track that you can further follow at this point until you reach the road, where you can see tracks, but it's a road. People use it, and it doesn't tell you a great deal.
Can I now, based on the fact that we're at a road, and can I see the keep in the distance?
Yes. So it's your understanding of this that basically the tunnel goes from the maces and straight into a hill, and essentially through the hill and out the other side into this kind of woodsy, gorged area.
Sure.
It's round the back of one of the farms.
Okay, cool. It's just trying to get my bearings on that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So that's cool, okay. Looking around, is there any kind of, apart from the road, because I was about to be stupid, obvious direction to go in? Say, like, is it like across the road there's another field, or is it more like woodland, or kind of, if he was trying to profile where she might go?
Yeah. So looking back towards the woods, there's kind of a hunter's trail through there that you passed, but it's exceptionally boggy. And you kind of push forward to the road, following other hints and tips that your men are kind of pointed towards, who weren't best pleased about being out in the dark and feeling relatively spooked about everything. The other option would be obviously down the farms. It's kind of this patchwork quilt of your agriculture here. And the farms are in various states of preparing the fields. You know, one of them was flooded. That was a complaint that came in, and the crops were ruined, and you can see kind of trodden into the dirt, the bent stalks of the plants that have been trying to grow.
That sounds promising, at least. Yeah, I mean, we'll try and follow the most
It's almost one of those where you
trail.
kind of have three options. It's either push through the farmlands would be an option here, back through the woods, down the hunter's trail, which is really boggy and would be difficult, or kind of up the road towards the keep.
See, what I'm thinking is we need lots of people, lots of horses, and lots of dogs. Like a full-on, search attempt is what I'm thinking. So I'm going to head back and try and convince Astra of that, which I don't think would take much, but yeah.
Okay. You get back, and it's late into the evening now with all of the traveling that's happened and all of the events of the night. And everyone has returned to the keep by this point. Astra's attempt to find R'hllor unsuccessful. Many of the men kind of bedding down for the evening. You see a silent sister pass through the foyer with a barrel, a kind of a shallow barrel of some description. And the men give her a wide berth, whispering between them. But you are free to kind of do as you want. And I'm going to assume like everyone's here. If you want to grab anyone, everyone's around.
My lord, we should search properly. I believe we have a lead on her, but she is out there somewhere. We haven't found her yet. I think the only thing we can do is muster as many good, able-bodied men, women, and children as we can, and comb these woodlands and any farmland.
Have we excluded the possibility of the tunnels then? What did you find?
We found a bad omen. A corpse owl. Aside from superstition, we found a path, a corridor that we had not considered for a long time, and in fact I had forgotten about since my youth. We went through its narrow pathway into what is essentially a small tunnel leading out from the hill to the northwest. Out there, that leads to a small glade which neighbors the road.
Okay.
I think that whoever did this to us used this tunnel.
How ironic. Our own secrets stabbing us in the dark. Yes, of course. Whatever you need. Rally the men. First light tomorrow. Start the searches.
Very well. I want to go over to Adeline quietly and just ask, did you and Della ever use those tunnels?
Never needed to use them to get that way. As far as I know, she's never been to the hold. So no.
Then who knows about our tunnels?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. This is just see her think for a little while and just remember that family history. This points to them again. You remember the history of the family. Gaunts and the Tremaines used to be allies. All the way back to probably when this hold was created. It would be not out of the question that they would know a few of these and have kept it their own secret for something like this.
Perhaps.
But first things first, tomorrow morning we find Tarla. Now, I want, when they have these groups, that make sure they take one of our trackers with them. Take someone that knows these lands. We don't want to go wandering about, getting lost, getting confused where we are. We want to make sure we cover this land as thoroughly as we can. Yes, we should go. Just make sure everyone gets rested, keen-eyed, and ready to go the first thing in the morning when dawn comes. And in the meantime, make sure that passage is blocked off. I don't want that to be used again without us knowing.
Agreed.
All right. Well, get some rest. It's been a night.
Hasn't it?
And maybe hold off on the bottle for a few moments as she leaves.
Jamie, in exchange for a bonus dice, I would like you to share with us what Jamie is thinking in this moment as Adeline leaves.
Jamie is wondering whether Adeline was complicit in a whole Gaunt plot.
Okay.
And is considering who to talk to about that suspicion.
Okay. So make a note, Sam. You can use that bonus dice on any test you like. I don't have a little blue dice to give you for it because it's a different thing, but I know you won't forget.
I mean, I will, but sure.
Susie, is there anything Allegra would like to be doing in this time?
I think Allegra is packing her things. She's getting prepared to leave. I mean, she's not like leaving in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
but this is definitely her. I'm actually doing this. This is going,
Okay. As you were packing your things, you glance up and catch your own reflection in the window of your room. And you see the toll that the sickness took on you. Although you feel much better, you can see the dark circles under your eyes, the worry, the stress. And you glance down to the candle in your window, and it flickers just ever so slightly. And you see, trailing down before the candle, a row of ants, walking in a steady row along your windowsill and into the stone of the wall. As you stare at those ants, you think of the chase of R'hllor along that country road in the dark. And you remember that moment when it looked at you as it burst out of the stables, that fire in its eyes. And you watch as the candle tumbles, falls towards the ants, and the fire and wax spill down the wall. And the fire catches on the curtains. And there's a as it begins to grow up and up the window space until your entire window is framed in flame before your eyes. And there is your own reflection staring at you, tired, exhausted.
I think there's a second, like legit a second, where she's just like, is this actually happening to me right now? Where she's just processing that her room is now on fire. Before she like grabs a blanket from the bed and tries to like smother, she does that patting it. She's trying to do like emergency putting fire out. She doesn't even care what it is. She's just grabbed whatever it is off the bed and she's just like slammed it up against the window trying to douse these flames.
And you do that. And you throw this heavy blanket at the flames and you douse them, and you can feel the smoke kind of pick up into your nose and lungs. And you remember the coughing, and you remember the feast hall. You remember that night the fire had been high and the air had been scented with alcohol and herbs and spices. You remember watching as the pheasants rotated on the great hearth as they were cooked. The laughter of the Dornish. The laughter of your uncle. And you hear Aberon call to you, "Where's your mother?"
Do I hear that coming from any sort of direction?
Seems to be behind you, maybe the doorway of your bedroom.
I spin around.
And no one is there.
I think she throws the blanket to the ground. She sighs, rubs her face, before she like shrugs on a dressing gown, like an out gown, and she's just gonna head out to Jamie's room.
Okay, and you hurry down the corridor. Jamie, in your musing, had you returned to your room?
Yeah.
Okay. You find Jamie in there.
She's gonna lightly knock at his door.
Come in.
She opens it, and usually when Allegra enters a room, especially with Jamie, she's got some witty remark, some cutting barb or something, but she's just completely deflated and everything. Like, she's usually trying to hide how tired she is, especially even after she's been sick and she's been nursing people. She's tried to hide how sick she's looked, but it's just all across her face. And she probably stinks of smoke, and she's probably got soot on her hands, and she just looks pathetic, stood in the doorway, just deflated.
What's the matter?
And she just comes over and just like plops on the edge of his bed.
And he's in a loose-fitting shirt and just some breeches, having like derobes and got out of his armor and stuff, and sits down next to her.
I think she just like leans into him. It's all just so much in so little time.
What to do?
Do you remember when we were little and if we had a problem, we could just run to Mother and she'd make it all right? It's just us now.
Yes, they never quite prepare you for that, did they?
No. And she like rubs her face and she's like, oh, I screamed at Asta today. I said all of it was his fault.
That's okay. I've screamed at Asta before.
I told him that if the house fell, if everything fell, it would be his fault. It was his fault that so many died. It's his fault that he almost died. He's done nothing to stop it.
This came out of the blue. And no one could have foresaw what happened.
I feel like the stranger is just following me, Jamie, everywhere I go. Saw him in that hole, asking me how many, demanding his cup be filled. I saw him again tonight. On that hill with Verlaw.
Stranger and the lady. So now you're manifesting old mama's songs.
Much prefer the ones about gallant knights and beautiful women.
John Keel.
And the dragon. Why can't we have those ones?
Is this not something from the poisoning? Some hangover? Some ailment of the mind?
Gods, I hope so. Otherwise, I'm a terrible omen. You should probably keep your distance.
It wasn't me keeping my distance this first time, was it? As much as I don't trust them, I trust the Woods Witch far more than I would trust this Gaunt Maester. Go and speak to her in the morning and don't take any of her superstitious nonsense.
Yeah. I don't trust this Gaunt that's coming. I didn't trust the other one. I do intend to return to Tide's Door. But I need you to drill it into Asta to be more careful. He won't listen to me.
I will try, but I think your faith is misplaced. He might not listen to me either.
Well, hopefully, if enough people tell him, he'll listen to someone.
You're right, the Gaunts definitely aren't to be trusted, but I wonder just how much Ada might be wrapped up in all this. What with the notes before?
Mm-hmm.
What did they say? Stop the mother. Find my sisters.
We both know that in matters of the heart, loyalty usually gets left behind.
exactly.
We should be more careful of all of them. Gods and I thought we were out of King's Landing.
Once you start playing the game, you can never stop.
Apparently not. And she holds out a hand for a wine cup because she knows that Jamie's got the goods.
And this time he kind of licks his top of his mouth and looks around the room, and they go wanting.
I think there's a quirked eyebrow from Allegra.
Tomorrow we need to be alert if we're to find Tarla.
I was going to suggest that we raid the pantries like we did as children, but, well, there's nothing in them anymore.
I am going to bed.
Okay. And Allegra's, she's gonna like lean in and give him a little hug and like kiss the side of his head and say, "Good night, Jamie."
He kisses her cheek and says, "Good night, dear sister."
And Allegra is gonna head to her smoky ass bedroom and try and get some rest.
When you return to the room, you see that candle is once more upright and lit.
Cool.
But the curtains still bear the scorching. So you know that part had been real.
I think as she just lies in her bed, she pulls up the cover, she just says to the empty room, "Do what you will, I've had enough," before she closes her eyes.
Adeline and Asta, as you take your rest for the evening, having completed any tasks you wish to prepare for the hunt the next day for the missing Tarla, you both drift to sleep exhausted. It has been a long, long day. And Asta, as you search your mind, you can barely remember the beginning of it. When did this day begin for you? And your eyes grow heavy. And you remember the hayloft, the smell of the hay, the last good moment you remember with Tarla, just the two of you, as it had always been. But she's whispering to you, "We must hide, Asta. We have to hide." And you hear these footsteps in the yard outside, and you know in your gut that wrenching feeling, he's coming for you. You're going to die. Tarla grabs your hand and pulls you towards the back of the hayloft. "This way. There's a secret. Follow me." And she pulls you to a ladder. Down the back of the hayloft you go and out a back door, throwing your bodies flat against the side of the stable. It's pitch black out here. And you run. She's holding your hand. And you burst through a side of the skirting wall of the keep. And it's bright daylight. And the hillside is covered with flowers. And she laughs. And she trips and she tumbles down the hillside, giggling as she goes. And she calls for you to join her. "Come on, Asta." "Oh, come on, Asta. You have to have some fun. Please, Asta."
Run towards Tarla without
And
a
you
care in
run.
the world.
Mm-hmm. And you trip in the same place, and you tumble along, grass stains covering you as you go, and you don't care. For the first time in the longest time, you have no cares in the world. And you fall, giggling beside her, staring up at a clear blue sky. And she points at the shapes in the clouds that are drifting on by, wispy clouds. "That one's a rabbit." "That one. What do you think that one is, Asta?"
I think Oster looks intently at the cloud, and as the more he looks, the more it starts morphing and changing and looking like a stag. Just whispers, in a low tone to Tarla, all his worries coming rushing back. It's a bird, isn't it?
Yes, I can see it now. There are its wings. Look how wide they spread. I'd like to be a bird.
When we all... Where are you, Tarla?
I'm with you, silly.
Yes. I think you'll always be.
Of course. And if not, I'll make sure that someone is looking out for you.
I think at this moment, his memory's still a bit jumbled from the poison and the disease, but he kind of remembers the conversation they had with the second Tarla inside the tunnels, where she said, I'll make sure that she takes after you and that she'll always take care of you, even if I'm gone, blah, blah, blah. And just starts all the memories rushing back a little bit. And yeah. Yes, you will. Thank you for saving me.
And as you say that and you turn, it's that other Tarla looking at you. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Just in case.
I'm sorry. I could be better.
And a dark
I wish I could make
cloud
it up for you.
drifts across the sky. And Adeline, you're staring up at the sky and you hear a voice calling to you. Come on, Ada. It's not far.
She'll follow it.
And you see at the tree line, Della is waiting for you, a hand outstretched. She's wearing a simple brown gown today, all the better to blend in with. I can't stay long. Do you think we could ever tell anyone our secret?
I don't think so. No,
You don't think there's anywhere in the world where it would be okay?
We'd have to leave.
Is that such a terrible thing?
It's just me and my father, my cousins. What will we do? Your family.
My brothers. What do we do when someone finds out our secret?
And then if they don't approve or let us, then we leave.
Then we'll leave. If anyone ever finds out, we'll meet by the tree and we'll go.
I promise. And she'll kind of just touch her cheek and then just give her a kiss.
And she squeezes your hand as you kiss her. Let's go and get the blackberries. And she'll lead you into the woods where the bushes are heavy with these small round blackberries, which she picks with joy, throwing them to you. Very carefree.
You just see Alan smile like she hasn't done this in a while. been this happy.
Mm-hmm. And she leads you around through the maze of bushes, and you find yourself stood in that small gorge, which leads to the tunnel. And out of the tunnel comes screaming that skeletal form towards you, and you awake with a start.
She'll can't get after that. She can't go back to sleep, so she will just sit at the desk, plan who's going out tomorrow, while kind of just every so often holding the piece of metal, looking at it.
And that is where we will end tonight's episode. With plans for the great hunt for Tarla in process, Allegra packed and ready to return home to Tide's door, and the ants scurrying across her window ledge. Let's go around really briefly. What I would like to do in advance of next week's episodes is set your agenda so I have a nice clear idea of what we're doing for next session. And I'm going to go around the same way as we do normally, so kind of clockwise from Susie. What is Allegra's agenda for next session?
Get the hell out of this extremely cursed castle.
Okay. Nuno, what is your agenda for next session?
Pretty much remains the same. So it's finding Tarla first, and then the Whomst part's a bit more decided. I think he's going to probably research or ask someone that knows about those things, about the things that Adeline's letter was referring to, like the siblings part and find my siblings and everything that was cryptic. He was trying to make sense of it because he has a feeling that's connected to the situation at hand.
Okay. And Adeline?
Pretty much the same, I think. Find Tarla. Whomst.
Stab.
I mean that's a given. That comes with finding out for the Whomst.
Okay, and Sam, what is Jamie's agenda?
Find Tarla, and then I want to, on the way to King's Landing with Allegra, go visit the Gaunts and just be really polite to them. And then head to King's Landing.
Okay, so in the morning, the Maester is due to arrive at the house, so you have a Maester if you want to use him. Lucan is going to leave in the morning with the body of Lord Aberon and the Ben. So you know that is happening. And Millie should be back next session, so we may find out what's happened to Tarla, or we may meet someone new. It's hard to say at this point. I have to have a conversation with our lovely Amelia Tyler. Please go and check out everything that she is doing. Hopefully some of her projects will be announced. I know she's been in NDA, Heaven and Hell for a long time, so keep an eye out on that. Meanwhile, please do go and check out all of the wonderful casts. You can see their handles on screen. We've got Susanna Grace, J Nuno Text. We've got the wonderful Follow Black Cats, aka RPG Webby for Sam, and Flying Cirrus for Shauna. Do go and check out Shauna if you're looking for art. Same for Susie. Check out the Chromatic Chimera tonight in about an hour and a half, I think. And if not there, go and check out what's going on at Onyx Path with the wonderful World of Darkness game that Shauna is in. In the meantime, if you're looking for more Game of Thrones actions, we will be live on Follow Black Cats on Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern with a special guest. And if you're not watching that, then be here because we have a whole week lined up for you with the exception of Zweihander this week when we will be off. So thank you all so much for being here tonight. Please come over to the Discord where we will be discussing all of the horrific juicy fruits we've had tonight. And take care. Check out Patreon. And if you want to catch up, or if you are now on YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit a like, leave us a comment. Whoomst. Or whoomst, as I like to think of it right now. Thank you all so much. Try not to roll too many net ones because we want to be here laughing. When you do, I'm going to go look for a channel to raid. So stay in your seats. Take care. And good night.
Is V still
I'm gonna have a look. If we don't go visit
Yeah.
Tabletop Board, we will go and visit someone else. Very exciting, I promise. So stay tuned. Tomorrow it's Fall of London, 4 p.m. Eastern, here on Encounter Roleplay. Good night, everyone.